What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Playmakers Corner podcast. I'm your host for today, Simon Villanos, aka Coach V, and this is episode 140 here. This is our Week 7 NAIA Women's Flag Football recap of this 2022 season here. And oh boy, it was a pretty good week, following kind of a down week back in Week 6. Not too many games to talk about, but here we have a good number of games, and a lot of them were pretty action-packed, so let's talk about it here. Starting with Kansas Wesleyan versus Midland here. Midland traveling to Kansas Wesleyan to play them for the first time in their house this season, at least. And so here we go. In the first quarter, Midland starts out on offense and they go 3 and out. I don't know what they were trying to do here. They try to go and convert a really long fourth down, and so I say 3 and out, but they didn't punt it. They kind of just made, I don't know. It was a turnover on downs, basically, on a long incompletion. So there you go. But to get this party started, Brianna Hernandez-Silva, quarterback for Kansas Wesleyan, goes ahead and rips off a pretty long 40-yard rush to get them into Midland territory and into the red zone just like that. And she would actually go ahead and finish this drive off herself with a nice rushing touchdown to take the lead. She would then throw the conversion, making it 7-0 very early on in this game. Now Midland, they're trying to find something going here, and unfortunately they find themselves in a 4th and 11 situation near midfield. They try to throw it on 4th down here, going for it one more time, but Angel Roman gets a pretty easy interception. This ball was pretty inaccurate, and so this would go ahead and put Kansas Wesleyan on offense here. And so on offense, Silva, she finds Jada Wilson on a nice 10-yard reception. That would get them the first down, also putting them into Midland territory. And then here we go, 4th and 6 for Kansas Wesleyan. A couple plays later, they complete a pass to the receiver, but the receiver is called short, and so Midland gets a little bit of a break here and takes over after a pretty strong showing on defense here. But the offensive woes continue for Midland as Kendra Velasquez-Monroe for Kansas Wesleyan gets a pretty big safety, pulls the quarterback's flag in the end zone there. I don't know what was going on. I think she maybe just didn't diagnose the blitz as fast as she could, and so there you go. Kansas Wesleyan, they get the 2 points, and then Midland also punts the ball to them here. And so Kansas Wesleyan, they're trying to, get something going here. They're up 9-0. They will hopefully want to go up by, a legit 2 scores here with a touchdown. But a drop pass on 3rd down eventually causes them to punt this ball here. And so Midland, they have the ball. They're trying to drive, but the struggles continue as Alexa Mansur gets her first collegiate interception. Congrats to her. She is part of the PMC fam, and basically kills another Midland offensive drive. And so here we go. Kansas Wesleyan back on offense here, up 9-0. Silva finds Wiley on a 30-plus yard reception that puts them into Midland territory. After that, I believe it's Silva. She pitches it to Wiley, who takes it about 20 plus yards, putting them into the red zone about 5-ish yards away from the end zone here. And then after that, a couple plays later here, it's 4th down. Brianna Hernandez-Silva dances around in the backfield here, avoiding rushers and tacklers. And she eventually, after a while, finds Angel Roman, who, by the way, makes an excellent contested catch for a nice touchdown reception here. They would also get the conversion. Jada Wilson catching this one, making it 16-0. Now Midland, they get the ball and then they go 3 and out. Nothing really to talk there. Just not really on the same page here as the struggles continue here. Kansas Wesleyan, on the other hand, puts together a pretty methodical drive that gets them into the red zone. It does come down to a 4th and 9 with about 4 seconds left. Hernandez Silva does kind of just throw it up into the end zone, hoping somebody catches it, but it is incomplete. And so Kansas Wesleyan goes into halftime up 16-0 as Midland is struggling mightily on offense here, getting some breaks on defense for sure, but offensively just not being able to sustain any sort of drive right now. And so here we go, third quarter. First play of this half here, Brianna Hernandez Silva takes off scrambling on a power option play. And honestly, if it wasn't for her stepping out of bounds, she would have been gone, as it was a pretty nice 40-plus yard scramble to get this party started. No problems here for Kansas Wesleyan on offense. And so keeping it going, Silva does find Jada Wilson for about 15 yards, and that play would put them in the red zone. And then Silva would go ahead and cap off this drive with a rushing touchdown, also getting the conversion, making it 23-0 here. Now Midland, they are just absolutely struggling to move the ball, and they decide to go for it on 4th down. I believe this is the 3rd time they're going for it on 4th down. Didn't get the other 2 times, and they don't get this one, as Kansas Wesleyan does stop them short and basically have a pretty short field to work with here. And so here we go. Silva throws it to Angel Roman, who breaks a couple defenders' ankles, honestly, like just puts a move on him and runs it in for an easy touchdown. Don't get the conversion, but they're up 29-0. Now, at this point in the game, it is basically over here in the third quarter. Kansas Wesleyan would go on and beat Midland 35-0. Their quarterback struggling with 3 interceptions. Angel Iowain at quarterback. She threw 3 picks this game. Brianna Hernandez Silva, though, for Kansas Wesleyan, did go 11 of 24, 145 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 107 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. 5 touchdowns on the day, with over 250 offensive yards total. Absolutely amazing. And then Angel Roman, our Playmaker of the Week from last week in Week 6, had another great performance. 2 interceptions, 3 receptions for 40 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns here. Now, one thing I did want to note is that Midland did put in Haley Stanton at quarterback very late. I think she maybe had a drive or 2, nothing significant, didn't really have too much time to work with there. And so, I think some of us may have thought, and especially here on the podcast, some of us thought that maybe Angel Iowain had this quarterback position locked up. But a loss like this to a team like Kansas Wesleyan, doesn't exactly bode extremely well. And so definitely had us keeping an eye on that quarterback position, as it still might be in flux, to be honest with you. But moving on here, right after that game, we had Ottawa versus Midland. And Ottawa here, not starting their starting quarterback in Madison Carrera, starting their backup on purpose in Sydney Root here. Madison Carrera would actually go ahead and play the night game here against Kansas Wesleyan, but Ottawa decided to hold her out of this game against Midland, which is a very interesting decision here, but it's never a bad thing to get your quarterback some reps here. That should show you the confidence of Ottawa, to be honest with you. But getting this game started here, Angel Iowain starting this game at quarterback despite throwing 3 interceptions the last game. They want to see if she could get something going here against the defending national champs. And so here we go. She starts out pretty well, actually, hitting a receiver on an out route for about 10 yards. This sets up a 4th and 8 here. But Ottawa on defense, they are very smart situationally. They force her to scramble, and she is taken down well short of the downs marker. And so Ottawa, just like that, takes over on offense. And so, like I said, Sydney Rood here at quarterback for Ottawa. She is the backup quarterback for them. Completes her first pass of the game over the middle, and I believe possibly her first pass as a starter. So there you go there. After that, she would then hit a receiver on a nice out route for the first down, which would also put them in the red zone. 2 drop passes in a row would bring up a 3rd and 12 here. Rood would scramble for about 5 yards, bring up a 4th down. And then here we go. It is 4th and 8 here in the red zone here. Sydney Rood basically throws it up. This is a 50-50 ball, a 101 looking matchup here, and Jaslyn Camacho, she goes up and gets it, just out leveraging her defender and coming down with a very strong catch here, not only getting the touchdown but giving Ottawa the first lead of the game. Rude would then find Budaway over the middle for the conversion, making it 7-0 here. Now for Midland, they're trying to find something on offense, and so it is 3rd and 6 after a Sade Irvin handoff, which basically gains no yards, and then a short check down, which is dropped. So it's 3rd and 6 here. Angel Iowane on the run does complete a pretty low pass for a first down and a 7-yard completion. Regardless, still completed it. So there you go. Midland has something to work with here. Then she does throw 2 straight check downs that don't really go for anything here. And then she has an open receiver here on 3rd, but does slightly overthrow it. And so that basically brings out the punt team for Midland as they punt it to Ottawa. Ottawa having some issues of their own. Maybe it's the new quarterback here, but 2 false starts for Ottawa kind of hurts them here. They do find Claire Bodaway on a deep curl, but that's only enough to make it 4th and 8, and so Ottawa decides to punt it here instead of risking it. So a little bit of miscommunication on both sides on offense so far here. And then on the first play of the drive, on this drive for Midland, Iowane almost throws a pick to Jennifer Anthony, who drops kind of an easy one here. Her momentum basically took her forward, and she dropped it. If she did get the interception, it definitely would have been a pick 6, but it wasn't, so she gets away with one there. But doesn't matter, as this Ottawa defense comes up big, and they go ahead and sack Angel Iowane before she could pitch the ball, bringing up a 3rd and 23. After that, she would hit her check down. Check down is swarmed, probably just like how they wrote it up. And so Midland goes 3 and out, and they punt it once again. Now back on offense here, Ottawa, they're trying to get something going with their backup quarterback. And so Sydney Rude, she hits Jaslyn Camacho, who makes 2 strong catches in a row, getting them over midfield. But then Rude hits Clara Bodaway, who just breaks the reception loose for a 40-plus yard receiving touchdown. I gotta be completely honest, as somebody who's just watching this game and as media, it was pretty horrible flag pulling on that game. It looked like a couple Midland defenders thought that they pulled Claire Budaway's flag, or thought that their teammates would eventually pull a flag, and so it really just resulted in like 3 or 4 defenders kind of just standing there as Claire Budaway breaks away for a 40-plus yard touchdown reception. And so not great effort here by Midland's defense here, and Ottawa, they would get the conversion, making it only 14-0. Still a close game, a 2-score game here in the second quarter. And so this Midland team at this point kind of just needs to wake up, as it was the offense struggling. Now the defense, kind of giving up a pretty bad play right there. And so here we go on offense. Angel Iowane tries to throw the ball away on a deep curl, which is also almost intercepted, but she takes a sack instead after getting the initial first down here. She would try to get something going, finding Allison Malfair over the middle, but it would result in a 4th and 9. And so here's what happens here. Midland, once again, trying to go for it on 4th and 9 here. Under pressure, she throws it short, and number 4, Haley McKay for Ottawa, intercepts it. It's basically like a punt. A penalty is called on Midland for illegal contact, and so OU, regardless, still gets the ball. Like I said, this was basically a punt, but not the greatest decision here to throw it short, and to also basically be throwing an interception as well here. And so here we go, back on offense. Clara Bodaway having a very good game here. Makes an amazing catch, skies for it, and then literally stops in place. Doesn't move, doesn't juke, doesn't do anything. Looks at the 2 defenders for a whole second. The 2 defenders are basically frozen in place. I don't know why they're not lunging at her. And then she runs for the first down, getting them into Midland territory. Not great defense, I'm going to be honest. Just a little out of it, honestly, for Midland here in this game. I mean, they've had a kind of a tough day so far. This is only a 2-score game, so I don't know what is going on here. but definitely not great effort here so far. And so here we go. Sydney Rude does find Claire Budaway on an out route, and then finds Addie Osborne on a swing route, which sets up a 4th and 3 here. Sydney Rude does barely miss a throw to a wide open, and I mean like wide open, Jaslyn Camacho. And so Midland kind of catches a break here and takes over despite not playing the greatest defense on this drive. Still though, gotta keep in mind, it is a 14-point game. If they score here, it's a 1-score game going into half. But unfortunately, Midland, the quarterback's throwing a lot of checkdowns, and so Ottawa, they love that, and so basically, Ottawa forces Midland to throw another check down, I believe, on 4th down, and they don't get it, and so they're short, and so Ottawa takes over on offense. And so on offense, Sydney Rude having some struggles of her own. I mean, this is the first game she's starting, so that's understandable. Still up 14-0 though, but she does overthrow Jaslyn Camacho again, which brings up 3rd and 15. A false start on Ottawa brings up 3rd and 20, and at this point it's the 2-minute warning. And so here we go. After the 2-minute warning, Bailey Hodgins, she gets the pass. This is a double pass here, and so I believe Rude throws it to Hodgins. And then Hodgins is aiming for Alyssa Linkus here, who is wide open, but just misses her on the throw, just an inaccurate throw. And so Ottawa, with a rare punt, punts it back to Midland here. Midland with another chance to potentially make this 1-score game. But on the first play of the game, honestly, it was just a bad decision. It looked like she was trying to force it to a receiver, and it wasn't there, as Haley McKay intercepts it and returns it about 30 yards for a touchdown. And so instead of cutting into this lead here, they go down by 3 scores right before half. Camacho does get a tough reception here for the conversion, making it 21-0. And then, I guess to add salt to the wound, not that this could get any worse here, Nina Grave de Peralta would intercept the last pass of the half for Ottawa here, as Midland just not getting anything at all on offense here. But Ottawa, not playing their cleanest game either, as they do start the 3rd quarter with a bad snap. It literally goes right over the quarterback's head, making it 3rd and 20. They run another play, don't get a lot of yards. They decide to punt it. Midland, they take over at midfield. Angel Ireland still at quarterback here. She gets sacked on 1st down. I don't know why I put a question mark here, but she gets sacked on 1st down here, and this would eventually result in a Midland 3-and-out, and so they would punt it. And then Addie Osborne on the punt return returns at 50-plus yards for a touchdown to the house. I believe this is the first punt return touchdown of this NAIA women's flag football season. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure this is the first returned touchdown on special teams. So there you go. They would also get the conversion on the slant, and Ottawa goes up 28-0. This game is basically over here. Ottawa does win this game over Midland 41-0 here. A little surprising here. Midland, maybe not super surprising that Midland lost to Ottawa, but in my opinion, it was surprising that Midland did not put in their backup quarterback, Haley Stanton, at all in this game, despite being down 28-0 early on in the 3rd quarter. And so, look, I hate to be that guy, but as media, we gotta report it. Midland's quarterback, Angel Ireland, just did not have a good day. 0 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a couple pick sixes here. I believe she had 2 pick sixes against Ottawa, and then another one against Kansas Wesleyan. One does have to wonder, hey, maybe it wouldn't hurt to throw in your backup quarterback and compete. This is definitely still a quarterback position that is a little shaky for Midland here. Maybe she does have to settle in, and I get it, Ottawa's pretty good. Kansas Wesleyan is not bad, but with the amount of talent you got over there, gotta think that eventually Midland has to get something going here. So there you go. But just a very, very tough weekend for Midland here. Just not doing a great job here. Not scoring at all in either game here, which is definitely a first for them. So yeah. So there you go. But let's talk about Ottawa here real quick. Sydney Rude, in her first start, 16 of 25, 148 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. This Ottawa defense, like I said, also grabbed 4 interceptions. Haley McKay with 2 interceptions and a pick 6. Brianna Beto with a pick 6 at near the end of this game here. I believe it was in the 4th quarter. And then Nina Grave de Peralta, I believe is how you say that, also got an interception in this game. Hannah Surquina for Ottawa also grabbing 3 sacks as well, as Ottawa does beat Midland very, very soundly, 41-0 with their backup quarterback. Keeping this thing going, though, let's go ahead and talk about this Kansas Wesleyan versus Ottawa game. This was the big one to look out for on Saturday. Ottawa, obviously, number 1 in the KCAC. Kansas Wesleyan right behind them at number 2. And so, the vibe was if Kansas Wesleyan could maybe catch a dub at home, this would be big for them in the standings. And so here's how it would go down here. Madison Carrera back at quarterback for Ottawa and leading Ottawa on offense to start this game here. And so here we go. Carrera on the run finds Jasmine Camacho, who stops and catches the ball for a nice first down. Good route there and good throw. Does put them in Kansas Wesleyan territory on about a 10-yard reception here. Then here we go, 3rd and 13 a couple plays later. Carrera finds Camacho one more time over the middle. That makes it a manageable 4th and 4 here. And on 4th and 4, Carrera scrambles for the first down, keeping it easy, keeping it simple, extending the drive here as they do go into the red zone here. And so in the red zone, Carrera hits Osborne on a throw. It's now 3rd and 4 after that short reception, but Carrera would cap off of this drive with a rushing touchdown from herself with about 6 minutes left in the first quarter. They'd also get the conversion, making it 7-0 on a very nice drive by Madison Carrera. Now, Kansas Wesleyan on offense here. Unfortunately, illegal contact would push them back here. Legal contact on 3rd and 7 would push them back a couple yards after their own quarterback, Brianna Hernandez Silva, did scramble for a couple yards here. On 3rd down, Silva does take a shot downfield, but barely misses it here. That brings up a 4th and 15, and then they go ahead and decide to punt it back to Ottawa, not getting too much here on their first drive of the game. Now on offense here, Carrera hits Osborne on a nice little spot route, and she takes off for a 50-yard touchdown reception, putting Ottawa up by 2 scores right before the quarter ends here. They would get the conversion, making it 14-0 here. Now, Kansas Wesleyan, there's still a little bit of time left in this quarter. They're trying to get something going here. It is 3rd and 16 after completing a pass and misfiring on 2, by the way. And, oh my goodness, Brianna Hernandez Silva throws it deep, and I mean deep, to Jada Wilson, who is in 101 coverage, and she mosses the defender with a full extension reception, and then goes ahead and scorches that DB for about 50 yards and a Kansas Wesleyan touchdown. Now, the conversion is called back because of illegal contact. Kansas Wesleyan did originally get that, and the second conversion, because they do get another try here, is no good. But regardless, Ottawa does lead 14-6, but Kansas Wesleyan, not going away just yet, shows that they're still out here, gets on the board here, and makes it a 1-score game right before the second quarter. Now, in the second quarter, Ottawa finding themselves in a little bit of trouble. It is 4th and 1 situation here. Madison Carrera, for a split second, is rolling out, has an open lane, but I think it looks like that she's about to throw it or something, or maybe she was just shifting the ball, but the ball definitely slips out of her hands, and you know how it goes, fumbles, they're spot fouls, and so if it doesn't fall forward and it falls backwards, it's a spot foul, and so a very rare mistake by Madison Carrera here, as they do not get the 4th down conversion, and Kansas Wesleyan starting in Ottawa territory here with a chance to go ahead and, potentially tie this game here, or at least get another touchdown here. But on 3rd down, Ottawa does sack Silva, making it 4th and 7 here. Now, it is 4th and 7 here. They're going hard count, and Silva does get this Ottawa defense offsides here. They call encroachment on the Ottawa defense, and it becomes a 4th and 2nd opportunity for Kansas Wesleyan instead of a 4th and 7 opportunity. And so here we go. Silva gets the ball rolling out here. She can run for the first down as she has done before here, but she decides to throw it a little bit late here. I don't know if she wanted to make that throw this late or if she was just caught in a decision between running it and passing it and just was too late in making that decision. But doesn't matter, as Ottawa's Nina Grave de Peralta makes an excellent interception, absolutely killing this opportunity for Kansas Wesleyan here. A very, very tough mistake to make here when you have a chance to potentially make this a much closer one-score game at the very least with a touchdown. And so Ottawa taking over on offense here after that failed 4th down conversion earlier on here. Carrera does scramble right for about 10 yards and a first down, putting Ottawa in Kansas Wesleyan territory. Now, after a couple of checkdowns here, it is 3rd and 6 here for Ottawa in the red zone here. And so here we go. Carrera goes ahead and throws it to her center, number 26, for a touchdown. They don't get the conversion, but they do lead 20-6, a pretty commanding lead if you're Ottawa here, up by 14. And so here we go. Silva with a chance to reply back for Kansas Wesleyan. Does drop kind of a low snap here. The snap could have been better, obviously, but dropping this low snap does push them back a couple of yards. A miscommunication on the next play would also make it a 3rd and 14. I believe this would be a dropped reverse or something like that. It was just not, it was a miscommunication for sure, though. Not out of it quite yet, though. Brianna Hernandez-Silva does scramble and gets a first down. A penalty is thrown on Ottawa, and so this contributes to that first down after that scramble. And then a couple plays here later, Ottawa basically shoves the blocker. This is illegal contact, and so that gives Kansas Wesleyan another first down, back-to-back first downs on basically penalties. That puts them in Ottawa territory here, but Kansas Wesleyan is struggling to take advantage of some of these opportunities here, as it is 3rd and 22, and Silva does launch it deep, but number 8, Nina Grave de Peralta, comes up with an excellent, and I mean excellent, full extension interception here that, in my opinion, kind of deflates this Kansas Wesleyan team just a little bit here with about 1:45 left in the half. So here we go, Ottawa trying to go for the kill here to put Kansas Wesleyan away by going up 3 scores right before half. Starts with Madison Carrera finding Clara Bodaway on a nice 10-yard reception that does get them into Kansas Wesleyan territory here. Now, once in here, Carrera hits Courtney Wiley, who is wide open down the middle for about a 10-yard or so reception that would put them in the red zone. And then to finish off this drive, Madison Carrera does it herself, runs it in for a touchdown. They would also get the conversion, going up 27-6 right before half. Now, it's looking pretty tough here. Kansas Wesleyan did have a couple opportunities to score, especially after crossing into the other side of the field. They just haven't been able to convert on some of those opportunities here. And so here we go, 3rd quarter. Hannah Serquina gets a huge sack on 2nd down, making it 3rd and 13 for Kansas Wesleyan, who started on offense to start this 3rd quarter here. And so after that, Silva takes a shot downfield, but it's overthrown, and so Kansas Wesleyan punts as the woes continue. Now, Ottawa's on offense, and for a second in one of these plays, it looks like Angel Roman has an interception off the deflection, but they call it illegal contact instead. And so Ottawa kind of gets away with a turnover here, as it is not counted as a turnover. And so Madison Carrera makes the best of this opportunity and throws another touchdown, basically putting this one away, as they do get the conversion and make it 34-10 41-6. Now, Ottawa would eventually beat Kansas Wesleyan 41-6, in part thanks to Madison Carrera, who just went crazy this game. 29 of 38 passing, 248 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, no picks, 50 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. And then Nina Gravedigger Peralta for Ottawa also had 2 interceptions that were pretty key in this game as well, as Ottawa takes care of Kansas Wesleyan 41-6 and stays atop the KCAC for now. Now, fast forward to March 31st here. Basically today, when I'm recording this, as this will be released April 1st, I guess happy April Fool's Day. I almost forgot about that. But anyways, on this day, we have Midland versus St. Mary, and then I also believe we have another game here, a couple games going on in the Sun Conference as well, which we will talk about. Now, before I talk about Midland versus St. Mary here, I believe Cody College was supposed to host or do something like that, but unfortunately something came up. I think it's weather, and so they go ahead and postpone these 2 games that they had on this Thursday, and so we'll talk about that another time here. But here we go, we have some KCAC action. Midland going to St. Mary's here to play them. The last time Midland was here, they went ahead and beat St. Mary in a pretty close one, or at least on paper, it looked like a pretty close game here, as they did beat them 38-25 on March 17th. And so here we go, Midland's trying to, repeat that win, as they have taken some L's in the time since, but they're trying to repeat here in St. Mary, and so they get the party started on offense here. Casey Thompson making a great catch to get them to pass midfield here. But unfortunately, Midland does stall out after passing midfield, missing a number of open throws downfield. Right decisions, just not being able to make the play, as they would go ahead and punt it back, or not back to, but punt it to St. Mary for the first time today here. And so the Spires taking over. Galbraith to Jerica Johnson on a jump ball, a 20-plus yard reception that would go ahead and put them into Midland territory. After that, Galbraith finds Ashlyn Tuss on a check down, who gets them into the red zone. But Casey Thompson for Midland does make a very good heads-up play here, catching an interception off a deflection here and returning it back for Midland. Not for a touchdown, but for at least a couple of yards here. And so here we go, back on offense. Angel Iowayne, starting at quarterback, finds Casey Thompson over the middle for a nice 20-yard gain that would get them back into Spire territory. And once they're in Spire territory here, Angel Iowayne throws a 30-plus yard touchdown throw to Cheyenne Duran, I believe, who just got free. She was pretty much wide open after the corner that was covering her fell down. And so there you go there. But Midland, they will take that lead going up 6-0, and it stays that way after they were not able to get that conversion here. And so St. Mary back on offense here with a chance to reply back. Cheyenne Galbraith finds Ashia Smith, who makes a nice move for about a 20-yard reception, a lot of that coming after the catch. After that, a couple plays later, Galbraith does find Smith one more time on 3rd and 6, who makes a nice move and gets a good amount of yards after the catch, putting them in Midland territory, also giving them the first down. Now, right before the quarter ends, Galbraith does take a shot downfield to a wide receiver who is open, but misses it, and it is overthrown. And so here we go. It is the second quarter. Still a pretty close game, 6-0 here, Midland leading. And so St. Mary's, they know that. They know if they get a touchdown, they'll be in a pretty good spot here. And so Galbraith, she does find Ashlyn Tuss on another nice 15-plus yard reception over the middle. That also gets them into the red zone. Now Galbraith here, once in the red zone, rolls out, avoiding a 2-person rush, and throws an absolute dime, a dot even, to a wide open Ashlyn Tuss for a touchdown, tying this one up. They would also miss the extra point, so it stays tied here at 6-6. Now Midland taking over on offense, looking to get back this lead from the Spires team here. Iowayne finds Thompson and Irvin a couple of times to get them into USM territory, hitting them on some short routes here. After that, Iowayne does take a shot downfield, but a receiver falls down, making it 3rd and long. If the receiver kept running, there's a good chance that they would have had a chance to make a play on it, but her falling down obviously hurts the results of that one there. So there you go there, but doesn't matter, as Angel Iowane does find Michaela Nunez, who gets a nice reception and a couple of really good yards after the catch that would put them in Spire territory. Now, a couple plays later, it is third down, and Angel Iowane makes a defender miss and runs it in herself for a touchdown here. They don't get the conversion, but Midland has a pretty good lead here at 12-6 here. Now St. Mary, they stall out on offense. Very rare that happens. Galbraith missing an open receiver on 3rd and long here, and so that would go ahead and force a punt. Now, after they punted it, this was a very short-lived victory here, as Jerica Johnson would go ahead and get an easy interception, giving St. Mary the ball back right in Midland territory as well. This was a very clutch interception. She definitely baited the quarterback into making this bad mistake, and so there we go there. She grabs an interception and gives the Spires a little bit of a break here. And a little bit of a break they get, as Galbraith does find a wide open Ashlyn Tuss on a 40-yard touchdown reception, tying this game just like that. The Spires here showing that they only need an opportunity to get back into it. And so they would also get the conversion, pitching it forward to Tuss, who gets the conversion and the lead, making it 13-12. So far here, Ashlyn Tuss does have 2 receiving touchdowns this game here. Now Midland back on offense, trying to retake this lead here. They pitch it to Sade Irvin, gets about a nice 15 plus yards on the scramble there, but Midland does stall out, as there are some accuracy issues on the quarterback's part, just missing some easy open passes here and there, and so eventually they punt it back to the Spires here. Now St. Mary, with a chance to extend their lead here, pitch it to Jerica Johnson, who goes in and runs this one and gets a good number of yards here, getting them into Midland territory. Right after that, Galbraith makes an accurate throw to Caroline Simpson, who makes a great catch, by the way, having to stop real quick to make the catch and then control her body enough to stop her momentum and make a defender miss before diving for the end zone. She is called short, though, right before she could score. There's maybe a couple seconds left in this half. But no worries, as they would go ahead and shuffle past it to number 14, Ellie Campbell, who gets them the touchdown and extends this lead as well. Galbraith would then find Jerica Johnson for the conversion, making it 20-12 here. Now, right before half, Angel Iowane takes a shot downfield, just a Hail Mary shot, and Jerica Johnson grabs an easy interception and almost returns it for a touchdown before her flag is pulled here. And so just like that, Midland was leading 12-6. Now they end a half losing 20-12 here. Now to start this second half here, Cheyenne Galbraith at quarterback for St. Mary's on offense first. She would go ahead and throw an accurate throw on a post route. Oh, but the receiver drops it, and that would force them to punt this ball here. And so back on offense, Midland, Angel Iowane scrambles, getting Midland into USM territory, and then she takes a shot downfield in one-on-one. I believe it's either Cheyenne Durand or Michaela Nunez who is there, and they're both taller than Caroline Simpson, but it doesn't matter, as Caroline Simpson skies for a great interception on basically a jump ball throw, and also gets a really good return, returning it about 30 plus yards, and gets them pretty deep into Midland territory here, really making them pay here, as Angel Iowane throws her 3rd interception of the game here, her 10th interception of the week basically so far, which is pretty tough here, not going to lie. And so St. Mary, they take advantage of this great interception by Caroline Simpson, and Galbraith makes a perfect, and I mean perfect, like right in the breadbasket, 30-yard throw to the back of the end zone, finding Jerica Johnson, who snags this one for a nice touchdown reception here. They would also not get the conversion, but it doesn't matter, as they are winning this one 26-12 here. At this point, Jerica Johnson having a pretty good game, 2 interceptions and a touchdown so far here. Now back on offense, Midland struggling to get anything at all as they straight up go 3 and out on offense and punt it right back to the Spires here. And so here we go. Cheyenne Galbraith trying to extend this lead, finds Ashlyn Tuss on a nice throw over the middle, getting them a fresh set of downs in Midland territory. And then Galbraith finds Jerica Johnson, who is on fire, fights through the coverage and makes a great contested catch for a first down on a nice 10-yard reception. I believe she basically ran a curl route and then just had very strong hands and went up for it and got them that first down. Now, the Spires have a chance to go up by 3 scores here right before the fourth quarter, and they try to. Trust me, they do. They take a couple shots in the end zone. A couple of them were open, but maybe the timing was slightly off and whatnot. And so Midland kind of catches a break here, and they basically force a turnover on downs after they are not able to score a touchdown in 4 downs here, right up in the end zone, or right up in the red zone, I should say. And so, boom, there you go. That basically ends the third quarter. Here in the fourth quarter, Midland, they are trying to get something going. It's only 26-12. If they could score a touchdown here, they could potentially make it a 1-score game. But Caroline Simpson coming up very clutch with her second interception of the game here, giving St. Mary's the ball back and killing another Midland drive, one that they sorely needed, by the way. The ball on this one was just overthrown here on fourth down. Caroline Simpson was there, and she also got a pretty nice return here, getting them into Midland territory here. This is, I believe, Iowans' 4th interception of the game at this point here. And so here we go. St. Mary's on offense. Galbraith finds Jerica Johnson, who makes a very nice catch on the sideline for about a 20-yard reception, putting them into the red zone at this point here. Now, the Spires here, they have a chance to go up by 3 scores, really put this one away, but a botched handoff on second down would push USM back, and this would eventually result in them stalling out in the red zone one more time as Midland takes over on downs. Now, this time, Haley Stanton is finally put in at quarterback. And look, she definitely deserves reps. I mean, when you have a quarterback that's been struggling against a couple, different teams here at this point, you got to see what you have at your backup quarterback here. And so Haley Stanton ready to play here. She starts this one out a little conservative here, scrambling for a couple yards, just trying to get this offense going, get some momentum going, which isn't the worst thing in the world, honestly. And this results in them getting to midfield. And then after that, once they get to midfield and get that first down, Haley does try to take a shot downfield. She has a receiver. It looks like the receiver almost has a step on the corner, but Caroline Simpson, great recovery speed here, makes an excellent pass deflection and actually almost intercepts this one, which would have definitely put this game away, but settles for the pass deflection. And so here we go. It is 4th and 11 for Midland here. And so Haley Stanton throws it to Cheyenne Durand, I believe, on a comeback route, or at least it looks like a comeback route, as she goes ahead and goes up and gets the snag, and then splits a couple defenders and takes this one 30-plus yards to the house for a touchdown. Haley Stanton, right after that on the conversion, will then rush it in, getting the conversion as well, making this a 1-score game, 26-19. The Spires only leading by 7 points, and all of this happens right after the 2-minute warning. So there's about a minute 50 seconds for the Spires here to run out the clock. And so USM, they go ahead, get the first down here. They have a chance to get another first down over midfield that would push them past into Midland territory, but this pass is dropped, and so that one kind of hurts as Midland's defense stands strong here and forces a punt with less than a minute left in this game after an overthrown deep shot by the Spires here. A little questionable on the play call, not gonna lie. I would probably run it here, but doesn't matter. They take a shot here. Obviously they don't get it, and so this results in a punt, and so Midland has a chance to tie this one up with about 45 to 50 seconds left in this game, making a little bit of a comeback here, putting in a new quarterback. And so here we go here with a chance to tie this one up. Haley Stanton finds a receiver over the middle for a nice 5 or 10 yard gain here. Receiver dives for this one, and so that basically puts them at midfield here. And then they call a read option play here. Stanton fooling the defense as they all flow to Sade Irvin, who is the decoy here, while Haley Stanton goes ahead and takes off 10 yards untouched and then makes a couple defenders miss and takes this one, before you know it, 20 yards into St. Mary territory here for the first down, and also putting them in the red zone as well. There's about 16 seconds left in this game. An exhilarating play by Haley Stanton to keep this offense alive with a chance to win this one. So here we go. 16 seconds left in this game. Obviously, they called a timeout right after that happened. And so they call up a pretty good play here. Haley Stanton aiming to split the safeties here, trying to find Casey Thompson on a post route. And she throws it. It's an accurate pass. Thompson's wide open. And it is dropped, or at least it looks like it is dropped here. It might have been a little bit too far inside, but it definitely looked like that Casey Thompson might have been able to make a play here. And so that is a tough play to happen here. At this point, you'll take anything, honestly. And so if you're dropping touchdowns or just missing opportunities, that's never a good thing with this much time left on the clock. But no worries, there's still 11.8 seconds left here in this game. And so they still have a couple chances here to take a couple shots into the end zone and potentially tie this one up. And so here we go right after that. Basically, they call a similar play here. It looks like they have a seam route up the middle. It also looks like USM is running a cover 3, but Caroline Simpson comes up clutch, intercepting this one, literally coming out of her zone. I had to watch this one twice because it looked like Caroline was playing either a cover 3 zone or like her third of the zone or a cover 4 zone. I couldn't tell if there were more players on the other side of the field here. But she basically comes out of her zone to go ahead and intercept this ball that was thrown up the seam here. Just a great read by Caroline Simpson as she not only gets her third interception of the game, but basically wins St. Mary this game here as they go ahead and beat Midland 26-19 in an absolute thriller of a game. Couple stats to talk about. Like I said, Caroline Simpson, 3 interceptions this game, all in key parts of this game, as well as I believe she got all 3 interceptions in the second half here, just clutching it up. So good stuff for her. She also had a couple receiving yards. Obviously, I don't have those stats, but she definitely did come up with a couple big receiving yards, not only on offense but also on defense. She returned a couple of those interceptions. Those first 2 interceptions that she returned did set up that last touchdown that USM would score. That will put them up by 2 scores. And then the last 2 picks that she got obviously killed Midland drives there. So there you go. Jerica Johnson had a receiving touchdown in this one. Also was probably the lead receiver as far as receiving yards go, as she popped off. She was very reliable and she kept a lot of drives alive here, while also unaliving 2 Midland drives, getting 2 interceptions of her own here. And then last but not least, Ashlyn Tuss for St. Mary did get 2 receiving touchdowns, both in that first half, I want to say. So altogether, very quality win for a St. Mary team that was looking to get back in the win column here, losing some close ones, or at least feeling like they lost some close ones here. And so they go ahead and take care of business, winning this one 26-19. Now Midland definitely struggling, not gonna lie. Definitely struggling a little bit here. Scoring only 19 points in these last 3 games here, but almost winning this last game thanks to Haley Stanton. Haley Stanton, she's only ever had 2 drives, like at most, in a game all season. And so honestly, maybe it's time for Midland to try Haley Stanton out a little bit here. See how that goes. They gave Angel Iowayna a chance, and she made some great plays, but as of recently, it might be worth looking into having a new quarterback and seeing how that goes, as this offense was moving down the field. And honestly, if it wasn't for a great Great play by Caroline Simpson, literally coming out of her zone to go ahead and play the seam route here. I mean, Midland would have scored probably on that play. It wasn't a bad ball. It was where it was supposed to be. But like I said, just a great play by Caroline Simpson, just taking care of that drive and taking care of business. And so we'll see what Midland does here. At this point, Midland, they're trying to work with what they have here. They still have a lot of young pieces here, so no surprises. They are getting better defensively for sure. Offensively, though, they got to help out the defense, Offensively, you got to put some points on the board, keep the defense off the field and all that great stuff. And so we'll see what Midland does. Maybe they roll out a different quarterback here in the coming weeks. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that situation. Now, while that thriller was going on in Kansas, down in Florida, we had another thriller basically going on at the same time. They both had the same start times at around 3 p.m. Central Time. So I was watching both of these, literally next to each other, pausing some of them from time to time so I wouldn't miss too many plays. So just keep that in mind here. Both of these games are going on. But this other game that I want to talk about was St. Thomas versus Warner here. And so let's just go ahead and hop into it, because this one was a thriller, just like that St. Mary and Midland game here. But in the first quarter, Madison Tingen, she is finding Cynthia Holmes very early on here, getting her the ball a lot. And this proves effective as they basically get into the red zone just by using that connection here. And this Warner offensive drive would basically end with a direct snap to the running back number 15. And I can't find the name to number 15 here, so I'll probably have to look that up next week here. But they do a direct snap to the running back who gets them into the red zone. The conversion is picked off though, but it makes it a nice 6-0 lead. Now, St. Thomas here, rolling out Julianne Yolkowski. I believe this is her second start ever here, and so she's here at quarterback. She finds Dolce here, who puts them near midfield, making it 3rd and 5 here. Then on 3rd down, she does find her receiver Fairdes for the first, but a penalty actually pushes them back pretty significantly here, and so it's still 3rd down. They have to repeat it, but they're back almost 15 to 20 yards from where they were at, and so they have some work to put in here. And so Yolkowski, she finds Destiny Francois on a nice crossing route on a pretty good 20-yard reception here that gets them into Warner territory and a new set of downs here. And so Destiny Francois kind of bailing them out of that tough little situation early on here. Now, a couple plays later, it is 4th and 10. Like I said, they are in Warner territory, so they decide to go for it. They throw it, but the ball is batted down here. And so Warner goes ahead and takes this one over, sticking to their strategy, Tingen to Holmes, early and often, finding her whenever possible here, as she puts in a lot of damage against the St. Thomas defense, almost single-handedly to begin this game. Now here we go, we're in the second quarter. It is about 4th and short for Warner here, and so Madison Tingen, she takes off scrambling and runs it for about 15 plus yards for a touchdown. And I think there was a little confusion on the defense, definitely some missed pulls there, and so, this quarterback scramble was kind of unexpected. Maybe it wasn't unexpected, but for her to run it into a touchdown for that long of a touchdown, definitely have the defense reeling just a little bit here, which kind of hurt them. Now, on the conversion, it is intercepted by Rayona Baker, and so Warner only leads 12-0 here. Now, back to St. Thomas. They have the ball. They're driving. A couple plays later, they find themselves in a 4th and short situation at midfield. Now they convert it and they go ahead and cross into Warner territory, so crisis averted. But once in Warner territory, couple of incomplete passes forces St. Thomas to punt this one back to Warner here, and so a little uneventful for a little bit here. Now Tingen, she is sticking to the plan, finding Holmes whenever possible, hitting her other checkdowns when she is not open as well. And so it is 4th and short here, and this time they can't convert as St. Thomas takes over with about 46 seconds left in this half, trying to score here and make this one a 1-score lead, a little bit more manageable. But Michaela Michael for Warner gets a nice sideline interception with about 35 seconds left in the half and gives Warner another opportunity to potentially score and make this one a three-score game. And so here we go, Warner, they are driving down the field. It comes down to this play here, and Tashumba Washington absolutely mosses the receiver for an excellent interception in the red zone, by the way. And so Tingen, she tried to throw it to a receiver that was 1-1 in the end zone. Tashumba Washington, she won that matchup there and stops this Warner drive here. And basically lets this one go to half here. As, St. Thomas, they're only down 12-0 here. Warner, though, still having a 2-score lead. So here we go. Third quarter, it is 3rd and 10 for St. Thomas, and Yolkowski finds Destiny Francois in stride over the middle for a scorching, now I mean scorching because she burns all the defenders on this one, 60-plus yard touchdown. They would then get the conversion on a slant, making it 7-12. Just like that, St. Thomas is right back in it here. Now Warner back on offense. Tingen finds Holmes on a nice 15-plus yard reception, who lays out and gets this one, getting the first down here. After that, Warner finds Hamilton on a short route, getting them into STU territory. But on 4th down, a couple plays later, they go deep to Holmes, and that pass is broken up here. And so St. Thomas takes over with a chance to either take the lead or tie this one up. So here we go, Yolkowski finds Francois, who gets them into Warner territory on some nice yards after the catch. Francois putting in a lot of work for the St. Thomas offense here. After that, Yolkowski finds Rihanna Baker in the end zone for a touchdown on 1st down. But Rihanna Baker cannot complete the catch here. She drops it. I think maybe she was looking for a penalty, like unnecessary roughness or something like that. But regardless, she does drop this easy touchdown here. And so that one kind of hurts them a little bit, as Yolkowski does scramble for a couple yards after that play, getting them, closer into the red zone, about 5 yards away from the end zone here. And so after that play, Yolkowski then hits her check down Dolce, who comes up about a yard short, making it 4th and short here. And so here we go, 4th down with a chance to score here. They're maybe a yard or two away here. And Yolkowski throws this one a little low into the dirt. Tough for her receivers to go ahead and make a play. And so Warner stands strong in the red zone and takes over on downs. And so Warner, they have another chance to go up by 2 scores. But it's Tashumba Washington with a diving interception. An absolutely great play here by a great playmaker, giving St. Thomas the ball back with 13 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. And most importantly, not allowing Warner to score right before the 4th quarter. And so in the 4th quarter, St. Thomas, they are driving, trying to score here. It is a 1-score game at this point. A touchdown could potentially win this one. And so they're keeping that in mind here. They only need 1 touchdown. And so they're driving, but Cynthia Holmes comes up with a huge interception for Warner in the end zone here to give Warner the ball back with another chance to extend their lead here. But on offense here, Rihanna Baker for St. Thomas in a pretty big scare for Warner. So Tingen completes the pass to a receiver, and then Rihanna Baker for St. Thomas, without pulling her flag or anything like that, basically just takes the ball away from her and then runs it into the end zone here. Now, there's a little bit of confusion and whatnot. The refs, I guess, threw a flag here, and I guess the call was pass interference or something like that, as they called this one back and give Warner the ball back as well here. And so Warner kind of getting a little bit of a break here in that one, and that would have won them this game potentially, or at least give them the lead in this game if that did go through here. But no worries here. Tingen, she finds Jade Hickey on a nice 10-plus yard reception that puts them into St. Thomas territory. Couple plays later, it's 3rd and 10 here. They throw it to the receiver, who tries to pitch it, but it doesn't work out. Ball drops to the ground, so it's basically 4th and 10 here. And so here we go. This is a key 4th down conversion. If Warner wants to put this team away, they got to get the conversion and then hopefully score after this. But Shumba Washington for St. Thomas comes up clutch again with a key pass breakup on 4th down that will basically give St. Thomas the ball back. Looked like she almost intercepted it, but regardless, it's all good as they would get the ball back on that after that 4th down play here. Now St. Thomas, they are driving here. They cross into Warner territory. After a couple flags are thrown on Warner, this game's a little chippy here, and so just keep that in mind. But a couple flags are thrown, and that kind of puts them into Warner territory. Now Julianne Yukowski, she takes a deep shot right before the 2-minute warning. It's about a 50-50 ball, but it is deflected. Her receiver did not quite have the leverage there. Now, after the 2-minute warning, she takes another shot down into the red zone, but number 15 for Warner gets a huge red zone interception here, basically ending this game. That's what I actually wrote here, which is really interesting. I wrote that they basically ended this game here at about 1:50 here. Now, just keep that in mind. That's what I thought at this point. I was like, all right, Warner's going to run out the clock. At best, maybe St. Thomas gets the ball back, but they're going to need a couple miracles to happen for that to happen. For them to get the ball back and then for them to even have a chance at scoring a touchdown. And so here we go. Warner, they are trying to just use up the clock, throw a couple short passes, run the ball here. And so it brings up a 3rd and 10 here when all is said and done. I believe St. Thomas had their timeouts here, and so they were calling timeouts as they went. And so 3rd and 10 here, Tingen drops back, throws it, and Shumba Washington almost intercepts this pass, but could not bring it in. Still, though, comes off as a pass deflection. I think the clock stopped as well. And so this will basically force a punt back to St. Thomas, who gets a really good return. And I don't know if they do what they do without this return on the punt, but they get a nice return back to around midfield here with about 46 seconds left in the game. They have about 50-ish yards to go to potentially win this one. And so Warner, they had their chance to run out the clock. I think they really only needed a 1st down. Could not get it there as this STU defense stood strong. But here we go. We're on offense here. STU's on offense here. Yukowski, she hits her drag route. Basically could not get out of bounds, so they go hurry up before throwing it deep. That pass on that deep, though, is deflected here. Almost picked off, actually. I believe it was 15 who almost intercepted this one. Not quite a deflection as it was a dropped interception, to be honest with you. But at this point in time, the clock is stopped. St. Thomas, they still have a couple chances here to win this one, so they're not out of it just yet. So here we go. Yukowski finds her check down, Carissa Dolce, who gets a good couple yards here, gets some good yardage here, and basically puts them in the red zone right before St. Thomas calls their last timeout, I would assume, of the game here. And so here we go, just a couple seconds left here. I don't think St. Thomas has any more timeouts, and so if the clock is rolling, they gotta go. So that you just gotta keep that in mind. And so here we go. Yukowski drops back, evades the pass rusher, and then throws a touchdown to number 3, Rayona Baker. But this one is called back because of tripping. And so not only does this touchdown not count, and by the way, Rayona Baker making an excellent catch, getting 1 foot inbounds in the back of the end zone here. And so not only does this touchdown not count, but they are also pushed back a good number of yards here. Almost to midfield at this point, maybe a little bit past midfield. But they do have one more play to run. I think the clock ran out on that last play here, and so with that being said, this was almost an untimed down, I want to say here. And so here we go. This is the last play of the drive. It's a Hail Mary pass. I think everyone knew it had to be a Hail Mary, unless they did some sort of hook and ladder type of thing. But they go with the Hail Mary, and Yukowski throws it deep to number 3, going back to Rayona Baker, who caught it last time, and she catches it on a 50-yard touchdown reception here. Mossing, crossing into the red zone, winning this one on the very first walk-off touchdown of this 2022 season, and possibly the first walk-off touchdown ever in NAIA women's flag football history. St. Thomas getting a huge dub over Warner, winning it 13-12 here in an absolute thriller of a game here. Look, I just gotta be honest with you. Warner, they had their chances to put this one away. You know, they were a first down away from putting this one away. They were a dropped interception from putting this one away. They had their chances here. But today was just not their day as St. Thomas pulls out all the stops here. Oh my goodness. Pulls out all those stops here. Getting a bunch of stops thanks to Tashumba Washington, who had 2 really key interceptions in this game that not only stopped Warner drives, but also prevented them from going up by 3 scores and extending their lead and so on. She also got 2 pretty key pass deflections that both resulted in either a turnover on downs or a punt. And so she was huge and obviously a Playmaker of the Week candidate, just playing the way she did here. And then you also have Rihanna Baker. She intercepted a conversion after that second Warner touchdown. If Warner got the conversion on that after that second touchdown there, they would be up. This game would probably be tied here, and it would come down to a conversion, and so they wouldn't have lost on a walk-off touchdown like that. And then obviously Rihanna Baker coming up with the huge Hail Mary touchdown reception here. Not only once but twice, basically catching it that second time. What were the odds that was going to happen? She caught it the first time. They ruled it a touchdown, but they called a penalty, and so they made this one even farther. And then she comes back with a longer touchdown reception. Oh my goodness here. St. Thomas, they just had it going for them. They fought throughout this game, and I have to give them a lot of credit, because I'm not going to lie, at one point I did say this game's basically over with a minute 50, but they fought back, got the ball back, had a very good punt return. I got to give them that, had a very solid punt return, and then basically found a way to get it done here. Also, as Julia Nukowski, not only being the first one to potentially complete a walk-off touchdown pass in NAIA history, but also getting her first career dub as a starter. So there you go. Congrats to St. Thomas, man. Playing a heck of a game, honestly. And Warner not even playing that bad of a game, just missing out on some opportunities. Just a couple plays here, really it came down to a play. If they made a play, then this game would be over. This game, they would have won this game, whether it was a deflection, interception, whatever. It came down to a play, basically. And so, a very thrilling game here to kind of close this one up. But we do have one more game that we're going to talk about, and that is Florida Memorial versus Keiser coming up next year. Alright, let's talk about this Keiser versus Florida Memorial game. Keiser not playing in a couple weeks here, having a good amount of time off, so going into this one, they are 5-1, or at least I believe they're 5-1, and then Florida Memorial 1-6, and so this game, look, it wasn't super crazy or anything like that. I'll go over the big plays that happened for sure though, but early on in the first quarter, Diamond Mays at quarterback for Florida Memorial did throw an interception to Maria Vega, who basically returns this one for a touchdown. And so there you go. Keiser would get the conversion here, and so they take the lead 6-0. Now a couple minutes later in the first quarter, we have Keiser, they're back on offense, lead a pretty methodical drive down the field, and Jasmine Roden would eventually end this one, finding Kennedy Foster for a nice 9-yard touchdown, making it 12-0, but then she would go ahead and complete the conversion to Rodriguez here in the first quarter, so they would be up 13-0 here in the first quarter. After that, pretty much nothing else happened, nothing too crazy here, as it was pretty much a stalemate. Florida Memorial kind of holding their own a little bit here throughout this first half, as it was 13-0 going into the second half here. And honestly, there aren't even any turnovers that are happening either. They're just going 3 and out or 4 and out here. And so that's kind of the name of the game here leading into this third quarter. And Florida Memorial would actually get the ball to start off this third quarter. But unfortunately, they would kind of stall out here around the 5-ish, 6-minute mark here. And Keiser would get the ball. And so here we go. Jasmine Roden, she finally gets a really big pass off to Chloe Griffin for about 41 yards here. Right after that, she finds Kennedy Foster for her second touchdown of the day on a nice little 10-yard touchdown. After that, it's basically a game of keep away as Florida Memorial is just struggling to just complete some of these offensive drives. Playing pretty solid on defense, but just struggling to complete some of these offensive drives. As in the fourth quarter, they do end up punting it. And then, basically after that, Keiser takes up a pretty good chunk, about 4 or 5 minutes of the quarter before punting it back or giving it back to Florida Memorial, who doesn't come up with anything after that. A little bit of, I think this illegal forward pass kind of hurt them on this drive, and so that's why this one would not result in anything here. Now, to make things a little interesting at the end here, Florida Memorial did intercept a Jasmine Roden pass, Erica Johnson making that interception here, but they could not get anything going as this clock basically works against them and they run out of time. Offense struggling a little bit, but the defense finding some footing here, holding Keiser to only 19, doing a pretty good job there. So there you go. Florida Memorial loses to Keiser 19-0 in a pretty close one, if you ask me, honestly. Kennedy Foster, she did have 2 touchdowns in this game. Maria Vega, I believe, also had a pick 6 in this game, and honestly, those were the plays that mattered when all was said and done. Those were the games that basically won them this game here. So yeah, there you go. That is week 7 here. Coming up next, we're going to talk about power rankings, after this pretty eventful week 7. Alright, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Playmakers Corner podcast. We're going to talk power rankings here after this week 7. So, just going to throw this out there. Obviously, Caudy did not play their games. If they were to finesse a dub today, that could have shook this up a little bit more. But for the most part, kind of another quiet week, to be honest with you. A very quiet week, despite having a ton of exciting games. A lot of these teams, basically beat the team that was ranked below them and whatnot, did what they had to do, and I think there was only one matchup, I want to say, where that didn't exactly happen, and so that team naturally moved in front of them. But let's go ahead and get into this. So, as you know, I have my own personal power rankings, Cody has his power rankings, and then we basically just talk it out and decide, alright, what are the official Playmakers Corner power rankings? And so that's how that works. That's an abbreviated version of how this thing works, but let's go ahead and get this thing going. At number 1, nothing really has changed. We both have Thomas at number 1. They didn't play this week, or at least what we're classifying as this week here. Cody said no reason to move down, the only team to topple both of the championship teams from last year. This is a nice break for a team that has been playing hard and plays the best defense in the country, currently allowing 9 points per game, which, considering how offensive focused and how good offensive schemes need to be for you to be a competitive flag football team, that's pretty good, as they have shown that they could play very good defense, have arguably the best defense in the entire country, and then still find a way to get it done on offense. Also, I believe their quarterback, Shelby Hartley, also won Player of the Week in the Sun Conference this past week. So congrats to her, obviously. But yeah, Thomas at number 1, that's a no-brainer for now. At number 2, we both had Keiser. Cody said Keiser didn't obliterate Florida Memorial as many might have expected, but a win's a win. But a win's a win, a win. is what he said. And there's no reason to bump down this team, boasting multiple playmakers, including multiple award candidates, end of the year award candidates, like quarterback Jasmine Roden. And he said, my current vote for offensive playmaker is Kennedy Foster. There you go. Spoiler alert, but that is the front runner for Cody there. Kennedy Foster is up there for me too, but I'm not exactly gonna, spoil what my vote is. Not yet. So, there you go. But Keiser at number 2. We're not gonna hurt them for only scoring 19. That's still pretty good. Florida Memorial is a growing program that's getting much better. Now, at number 3, we both have Ottawa, so Ottawa is here. Cody says another weekend of obliterating the KCAC keeps Ottawa here at number 3. I feel like they can win the conference without playing perfect. And now would be the time to experiment and strengthen some things before the national tournament. Absolutely agreed here. Obviously starting Sidney Rude against Midland, I personally think that's a pretty smart idea. I think Ottawa was good enough to beat Midland there, even without their starting quarterback. And so it's never a bad thing to have Sidney Rude out there, just in case. Obviously Madison Carrera, she's doing her thing. She is absolutely killing it right now, by the way, and honestly, she could probably use a little bit of a break. Sitting out a game that you feel like you could win, it won't hurt you. So, there you go. Ottawa's at 3. Not out of it just yet here. They could still be a huge threat in the national tournaments, and I think that's what they're focused on, and I think teams, they got to be ready for Ottawa come that national tournament. They have some real motivation going on right now after suffering those 2 losses from a couple weeks ago, which I guarantee will still sting the same come nationals. So, hey, just saying. At number 4, we both have Weber. Cody says, despite St. Thomas's dub, Weber doesn't deserve to slip. Breeza and this defense, as in Breeza Robinson in this defense, better buckle in, as well as the rest of this Weber squad for this intense stretch to end the season here. We'll be talking about next week's games. Weber's going to continue to get tested. Right now, I think Cody could probably agree with this. We are both not really looking to move up Weber unless they continue to prove their dominance. And so, if they get a couple dubs here, basically the end of this regular season, then, we'll see. Maybe we'll move them up above Ottawa potentially. But at number 4 is not a bad spot for a team that is figuring it out and getting it going. By the way, Weber didn't play this last week, so just keep that in mind. Now, at number 5, we have St. Thomas. We both have St. Thomas, so there you go. Cody said, St. Thomas secures the closest win of the season in a day that had 2 intensely close wins. I thought about moving them up to the 4th spot, but I couldn't move Weber down. Yolkowski put in some serious work on the final drive, including a game-winning touchdown, and the secondary caught fire in the second half to pull out a dub by the skin of their teeth. Yeah, absolutely. The only reason they're not moving up is because I don't know if I could put them quite past Weber yet. I feel like they would have to beat them first to do that, and so that's kind of where I'm at right now with them. Julianne Yolkowski, she played a very good game for the most part. Had some, rookie mistakes here and there, but I like the potential that I see. I think I see where St. Thomas is going with this. It's going to be interesting to see how they approach this quarterback position moving forward, because I thought, and maybe my eyes were playing a trick on me, but I thought I saw Jada Graham suited up out there, and I believe she was St. Thomas's starter last year, and so if Jada Graham's coming back, maybe they can make a bit of a run, or they stick with Yolkowski and, have Jada Graham play somewhere else. Obviously, she's a fantastic athlete, so she can afford to do that, and so, we'll see, or maybe they run a 2-quarterback system, or yeah, it's a 2-quarterback system, like some teams have out here. Keiser runs a little bit of that. So yeah, we'll see about that. At number 6, Warner. They're not moving up or down. At this point, the 6 teams I've talked about so far have not moved up or down, and Cody and I are basically in agreement that they aren't going to do that, so that is solidified in this week's power rankings. But basically, Cody said, close, but no cigar. I thought about punishing Warner, but honestly, this game could have gone either way, but they need to cut back on turnovers in order to be seriously taken, in order to be taken seriously in the top 5. I would have to agree. I think Warner is a team that started off really hot, and I think that's like their potential. Maybe not their ceiling, but pretty close to their ceiling. Their floor has been probably these last couple weeks just kind of sloppy football, This is definitely a game they should have won, no doubt. Maybe not a game they deserved to win, even if they did win it. But this is a game they should have won by a little bit more here. They had opportunities to score and make this a 3-score game and kind of like put this thing away, but they didn't, and that's definitely an issue. I mean, Warner, they've had a little bit of trouble converting extra points as well. And hey, Nationals is coming up. You got to do better. You can't be missing extra points near the end of this season, man. You're going to be playing in a lot of important games, whether it's that conference tournament or that national tournament. And, missing extra points like these, it matters. And, they missed both extra points today and they lost by 1 point. That's a tough go, but that's a lesson they'll learn. They're still a young team. They'll figure it out. And they're also still growing together as well. So I'm not completely worried about them. But eventually, you gotta get it going you gotta get it going again pretty soon here, as well, as this regular season is maybe a couple weeks away from ending. So there you go. And then we're hitting the postseason, and you don't want that to end early. So yeah, there you go. At number 7, we're both keeping Kansas Wesleyan here. Cody says KWU had their way with Midland before having to turn around and face Ottawa. If they played like the first quarter all game, there'd be a bigger conversation for movement here, but call it fatigue, call it inconsistency, but the gap in the KCAC is not because of talent necessarily. Cody's being real cryptic there. Look, in my opinion, I think Kansas Wesleyan arguably has the same level and amount of talent that Ottawa does. Now, Ottawa, those players, they glued together really well. They all know the roles really well. Not that Kansas Wesleyan players don't, but you do have a couple freshmen that are starting there that don't have last year's collegiate experience. And so there's some stuff there. But honestly, in my opinion, I do think, and in Cody's opinion as well, he just didn't say it in his quote, Kansas Wesleyan is a talented team. Come the end of this season here, they're probably going to upset somebody in the top 5. Let's just keep it real here. But against Ottawa, that's a game they probably could have won. It just got away from them. I know I didn't mention this in the recap, but that game was super chippy as well. You got to stay focused, especially when you're playing at home. I don't know what was up with that, but when you're playing at home, you have to stay focused. You have to be locked in mentally against teams like Ottawa that have all this talent and chemistry. Because if you're not locked in, small mistakes aren't going to cut it. I'm just going to be honest. Small mistakes aren't going to cut it. And so, we'll see about this Kansas Wesleyan team. This is definitely a team that can play with some of these big dogs here in the top 5 and beyond. But, it just really depends. Are they going to be locked in? And are they going to find that rhythm to play with these top dogs quick enough? So we'll see. But right now they're at number 7, kind of in the middle here, but definitely potential to get better. Maybe this year isn't their year, but next year they could be extremely dangerous for sure, though. But we'll just have to see how this season ends. It's still, we have a couple weeks left here. We have the KCAC tournament, we have nationals, and time will tell. Their game will tell when all is said and done. So yeah, there you go. Alright, moving on though, at number 8, we have our first change in our power rankings. And basically, we're just moving St. Mary's up to 8 here. I believe last week, St. Mary's was actually at 9. Yes, they were at 9, and then Cody and I moved them up to 8 this week, so they're moving up a spot. Cody said Caroline Simpson should reach the FYP page again. It's just FYP. The P stands for pageful. But he says, Caroline Simpson should reach the FYP page again after a DPOY level, Defensive Playmaker of the Year level performance that included ice in her veins to close this contest against Midland. Excellent win, and much needed for the confidence in this Spire Squad, hashtag Spire Squad. I don't know why he put in hashtag Spire Squad after that. But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look, this St. Mary's team, I think a lot like Kansas Wesleyan, has a lot of talent too now. They have been playing without their number one receiver for a minute. I honestly don't know if she'll be able to come back by the end of the regular season, maybe postseason, but we'll just have to see about that. Until then, you know, Caroline Simpson, she is killing it. First off, at receiver, she's been killing it there. But on the defensive level, I think she has been very underrated, and she has been doing her thing over there as well. I don't know if she allowed any passes this last week, and she got tested kind of a bit. So there you go there. And then, you know, the St. Mary offense as well. You have Galbraith, who's finding her stride. She connected on some big, deep passes in this game. Still mobile as ever, you know, being able to scramble, give them a second dimension there. Ashlyn Tuss has been really good at safety and at receiver. This is at least her second or third game getting a receiving touchdown here, and so Ashlyn Tuss is a very key part to that team as well. And then last but not least, you have your speedster Jerica Johnson, who is killing it on defense and offense. I mean, she's racking up these picks and touchdowns and these yak yards like it's nothing. Look, this is a team that has some talent, and they're slowly starting to put it together. I think this was a real confidence booster. Now, they still have a bit to go here. You know, beating Kansas Wesleyan would probably go a long way. And then after that, you have Ottawa in your conference. But, you know, this is a good step forward. Avenging a loss against a team that you played just a little bit ago and really only lost in a shootout. So there you go. You know, I think St. Mary is here at 8, and this is a pretty good spot for them. Now, on our official power rankings at 9, I went ahead and made I made an executive decision here. And so at 9, I'm actually putting Florida Memorial here. Cody actually ranked Florida Memorial at 11, but we talked about it and we agreed that we could put them at 9 here. And so Cody said about FMU, he said almost moved Florida Memorial up for their tough competition against Keiser. These glimpses get me excited, but I need a consistent shine from FMU. I get that. But you held Keiser to like 19 points. And so I'm actually going to move Florida Memorial up to 9 because they did a nice job against them. And honestly, really, I feel like it's always been this way. But offensively, they just got to get something going, man. They need to find a quarterback or somebody who's going to be a consistent playmaker and score. Like, they get all these yards, which is wild, because they really do get all these yards, but they just can't find a way to score. And I think that's just obvious. That's the obvious next step, you know, in their development here. Defensively, I think they're athletic enough to really hang with any team. But, you know, you need your offense to help you out, unless you're just going to be set on playing a perfect defensive game, which is a lot of pressure and really hard to do compared to playing a perfect offensive game. So, there you go. But I have Florida Memorial at 9 because of their showing against Keiser, and they've been picking it up lately. You know, they've been showing me a little bit. So there you go. I have them at 9. Cody has them at 11. We'll talk about the team that displaced them later on here. At 10, though, we both have Cody here, so Cody stays at 10. Cody said no movement here yet, but they honestly have 2 games that seem more and more winnable as the days press on coming up, especially after regrouping following their first ever program dub. Definitely agreed. I mean, they didn't play this last week, but, you know, there's definitely some things to be excited about after that first dub, and I was looking forward to seeing them play this Thursday, or today, the 31st, but unfortunately those games were postponed, and so we'll see how that affects the rankings down the line. I'm sure it definitely will, but for now they're still in the top 10 at 10. Now at 11, I have Midland here, and I'm going to read I'm just going to say what I thought about Midland first before Cody does, or before I read off what Cody said here. But I honestly have Midland at 11 because, I mean, look, they played through games, Kansas Wesleyan, St. Mary's, and Ottawa, right? And I get it, like Ottawa, obviously that's probably not a game you're going to win, but for Ottawa to put in their backup quarterback in Sidney Rude, and honestly, it wasn't their best effort game in general in that game against Ottawa. Like, they looked pretty defeated. I can't put them over Florida Memorial, who beat them, earlier on this season, and hasn't really shown any signs of giving up like that. Because honestly, that just put a bad taste in my mouth because, I mean, look, you're playing against a backup quarterback. Like, there's no reason for you to stop pulling flags or to wait for somebody to do that. Now, watching the St. Mary's game, they definitely bounced back. I liked what I saw. But also, they were definitely leading this game 12-6, then let St. Mary's score 20 points or something like that in the second and third quarter. And they just couldn't get it done. And honestly, I mean, that's a game they should have won. I can't defend that. I just can't. That's definitely a game they should have won against St. Mary's. They should have been 2-0 at St. Mary. So that's just what I'm saying there. And then against Kansas Wesleyan, I mean, I kind of expected that game to be closer. Honest to God, I did. Even maybe Midland upsetting Kansas Wesleyan, but that gap felt as big as ever in that game. And unfortunately, I mean, I just can't keep them in the top 10 here. I think it's appropriate to have them at this 11th spot for now. Now, let me read off what Cody said, and I'll explain. Then after I read off what Cody said, I'll explain what I meant by for now. So Cody said, and this is his words, "I almost hammered Midland after an abysmal and uninspiring performance on Saturday that almost put me to sleep. I won't hammer them too much after Haley Stanton nearly led a game-winning drive before a drop touchdown and an incredible athlete made a play of the week. I'm not sure who the quarterback is, but one has been given multiple full games to play, and the other has never even gotten a continuous half to prove anything. And this controversy could be a cancer that eats this Midland team to shreds." Now that's very dramatic, okay? That's very dramatic, but it's also true. I think, honestly, Angel Inoue, she has her flashes and all that, but she definitely has been given noticeably more chances, at least in-game, than Haley Stanton. And in some of these games, they're blowouts. So, like, for Haley to not get more than 2 drives, like, she hasn't played more than 2 drives, I think, in any game, or at least more than 3 drives in any game this regular season. And Midland has 1 win on their schedule, and we're past mid-season. Look, why not? Why not, right? Start Haley Stanton for a whole game and just see what you got, It's not like any of these regular season games are going to hold you out of the national tournament anyways, to be honest with you. So, you might as well see what you got, because, I mean, I kind of have to agree, Haley Stanton, I don't know if they get that close to beating the St. Mary's without her. I mean, obviously, that Cheyenne Durant, though, was a little bit lucky. I mean, that was more Cheyenne Durant making a play. But, oh my goodness, putting her team in position to score after they got that punt on that 20-yard, rush off that read option where she just fooled everyone and just got out there. And then she almost threw the game-winning pass, just slightly off. I mean, it wasn't most accurate, though, because then, Thompson would have caught it because it would have been right on the money. It was a little off. But still, though, a makeable catch. Why not? That's all I'm saying. Why not? Why not? Just start, play Haley Stanton. Give her more drives than 2 in a game, and we'll see. But for now, I think I have to put them at 11. They showed potential. They have athletes over there, too. It's not like they don't. Sade Irvin, great running back. She's somebody that could definitely take over a game, but when teams are pressing up like that in the box, she doesn't have much room. Cheyenne Duran, I think, is a legit wideout 1. Allison Malfair, real good wideout 2, maybe wideout 1, depending who you ask. Michaela Nunez, I think, is a secret weapon who probably doesn't get as much snaps as she probably could, but, I'm sure there's some reason behind that, to be honest with you. This is a team with talent, but you got to find a quarterback. And honestly, even if you're rotating quarterbacks and one is hot, one is cold, keep the one with the hot hand in and then take out the one that's cold before they throw 4 interceptions a game. There's no need for that person to throw another 1 or 2 interceptions, another pick 6 or 2. So, there you go. For now, though, Midland is at 11. I could definitely see them coming back into the top 10. But there's got to be some changes on this offense. They got to be more consistent here. Like I said, they had the lead. Literally, if you just keep scoring, then you win the game. So, yeah. They're at 11. Cody had them at 9. But on these official rankings, they will be at 11. At 12, we have Milligan. Cody said tough outs, but I wish that they played more games to develop some consistency. Kind of same. I know they're in a weird spot in Tennessee and whatnot, and also it might be their spring break. But I do wish Milligan played more games. I think they got a lot of potential over there. But they just didn't play this last week, so they didn't move up. Xavier, Cody wrote down shrugs. Same. I don't know what's going on. And we're going to leave it at that. So there you go. Week 7 power rankings. One more time. Basically the same thing, 1 through 7. But it goes at number 1, Thomas. Number 2, Keiser. Number 3, Ottawa. Number 4, Weber. Number 5, St. Thomas. Number 6, Warner. Number 7, Kansas Wesleyan. Number 8, St. Mary, moving up 1 spot. Number 9, FMU, moving up to 9, moving into the top 10, by the way, congrats. At number 10, Cody College stays there. Midland drops out of the top 10 at 11. Milligan stays at 12. Xavier stays at 13. So there you go. Those are our power rankings after this week 7. All right, let's talk Playmakers of the Week. There were a lot of Playmakers who did their thing. Some doing it per usual, and then some, making some noise out here as first-time Playmaker of the Week candidates. But you know what? Let's go ahead and hop into this thing. So, let's start with some of these games at the beginning here. Brianna Hernandez, silver, quarterback for Kansas Wesleyan. Jeez, what a stat line here that she has. I gotta read it off first off. 11 of 20, 145 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, 107 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns, all versus Midland. Do I really need to say any more? She was basically the entire offense for Kansas Wesleyan in this game. And then we have Ottawa's quarterback, Madison Carrera, someone who's been here before. 29 of 38 for 248 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 50 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns in a dominant dub versus Kansas Wesleyan. And then for St. Mary's here, this is a first-time candidate. We have Caroline Simpson, the freshman. 3 interceptions this game versus Midland. All 3 coming in the second half, and one of them also being the game-winning interception as well. And then I think another one of these interceptions also set up a touchdown, a quick 30-yard touchdown that would put them up by 2 scores. So just throwing that out there. And then for St. Thomas, this one was hard to pick because there's probably 3 or 4 players that could have been up here. First off, Rihanna Baker. She obviously caught the ball, so she's definitely up here. She caught the ball that won the game, and then she also got a pretty key interception to stop Warner from getting the conversion. And obviously, Warner not getting conversions is what kind of hurt them in this game. So there you go. So Rihanna Baker's definitely up there. You could even throw in the quarterback, Julianne Yokowski. This was her first career dub. It was, the first Hail Mary touchdown, first walk-off touchdown, I think, in NAIA women's flag football history. If I'm wrong, call me out. But, at least the first one that I saw this year. So, there you go there. But, I think I'm going to have to actually give it, and this is not that hard, or at least not super hard, but I think I have to give it to Tashumba Washington. She had 2 interceptions this game. Both of those were key, obviously. I know one of them was in the end zone, which stopped Warner from literally scoring. Then the other one killed a Warner drive, obviously. And then she also had at least two pass deflections. These two, though, were pretty important. One resulted in a turnover on downs. The other one was on third down and resulted in a punt that would eventually actually set up this Hail Mary touchdown to win the game. Now, this one's tough. It's always tough to pick Playmaker of the Week. But I think I have to go with Caroline Simpson from St. Mary's. Look, she played a heck of a game. 3 interceptions this game. Obviously, that's her contribution on defense. But she also had a number of pass deflections. Was tested down the sideline. Kind of a bit, I felt, defended at least 2 deep balls that could have been completed, honestly, if it wasn't for her playing good defense. And then obviously she plays on offense as well, had a couple really nice receptions, including one that would set up a very short touchdown to Campbell, I want to say, earlier on in this game. And so I have to give it to Caroline Simpson in her game against Midland. I mean, I don't think St. Mary's wins that game against Midland without her. So there you go. Tashumba Washington, I'm going to give her props as well. If I could give a co-Playmaker of the Week, I'd probably give it to her, potentially, as well as Caroline, just because, I mean, 2 interceptions, that was big. Those 2 pass deflections, that was big. But obviously, I mean, Rayona Baker ultimately caught that touchdown, and, I mean, she didn't throw it to herself either. And so, I mean, look, Tashumba Washington, in my opinion, was really close to winning this Playmaker of the Week, but I'm just going to throw this out there. She might be my front runner in this Defensive Playmaker of the Year awards. And, speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about it. First, like I said, Caroline Simpson of the University of St. Mary is our Week 7 Playmaker of the Week. Alright, let's talk this award race here. So, last week I did post a graphic with a couple names for MVP, Offensive Playmaker of the Year, Defensive Playmaker of the Year, and Freshman of the Year. Now, you, the fans, could still turn in names if you'd like. Just know that one player can only win one award. So, even though there are players that are in this MVP race that could potentially win Opoi, we are going to keep them separate here so that we could give as much recognition as possible. And so let me go ahead and talk about some of the players who played this last week and the performances they had that are on our award watch list here. And so for MVP here, we have Madison Carrera. Obviously, she plays quarterback for Ottawa here. Did not play against Midland, but in her game against Kansas Wesleyan, obviously still made a count. Threw for 248 passing yards, was 29 of 38. 3 passing touchdowns, 50 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. As of right now, I think she is definitely making a very good case as the front runner for MVP. So there you go. Cynthia Holmes, the athlete for Warner. Now, she did not win this game, obviously. Like, Warner did not win this game. But Holmes had a very good game. I mean, they're relying on her a lot. I don't have the exact stats here. I'm going off of what I saw and what I counted personally. So there you go there. Literally, they just played a couple hours ago, so I can't expect to have those stats right now. But she had at least 5 receptions. Definitely more, though. Was a big part of this offense. And then she also had an interception versus St. Thomas. So doing it on both sides, always a good thing. Then we have Jasmine Roden for Keiser. A little bit of an off game here. They still got the job done against FMU, but went 12 of 18, 450 passing yards, threw 2 touchdowns, threw an interception. Still not too bad, though. Still pretty consistent here. And then the last 2 MVP candidates we had did not play this week. Kayla Burrows, athlete for Weber, didn't play, and then Brittany Delva for Thomas did not play this week either. But hey, by the way, happy birthday to Brittany Delva. I think it's actually on the 31st was her birthday. So there you go. Happy birthday from the Playmakers Corner. But anyways, moving on, we have Offensive Playmaker of the Year. Let's talk about some of the candidates and what they did this last week here, if they played. But Brianna Hernandez Silva, quarterback for Kansas Wesleyan, against Midland, very good performance, 11 of 20 for 145 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 107 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns against Midland for a total of 5 total touchdowns and over 250 yards on offense. Killing it for sure. Then we have Keiser's Kennedy Foster. Even though it was a little bit of a down week for this team, she still ate 9 receptions, 85 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns versus Florida Memorial in that 19-0 dub. And then we have Ottawa's Alyssa Linkus. She had 5 receptions for 85 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown versus Midland. Versus Kansas Wesleyan, she had 4 receptions, 34 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown there. So there you go. Oh, and then my bad, I forgot for Silva. She obviously played against Ottawa. Her stat line wasn't as great, but against Ottawa, 9 of 23, 108 passing yards, threw a touchdown, did throw 3 picks though, but it was also the lead rusher with 66 rushing yards. So a little up and down, but there you go. Thought I should throw that in there. And then Weber didn't play this week, so Sierra Harris didn't have any stats to put on for this week. Then St. Thomas's wide receiver Tyler Bryant, she is on here as well, but she definitely had a bit of a quieter game. I mean, this was a very close one. She wasn't targeted as much. Like I said, I don't have the exact stats. I'm going off of what I saw, and I just didn't see a lot of passes to Tyler Bryant this game. And so, there you go. But next week, that'll probably change. Now, Defensive Playmaker of the Year. Let's talk about some of these candidates. Jada Wilson, defensive back for Kansas Wesleyan. Against Midland, she had 2 tackles. Against Ottawa, 3 tackles and a pass deflection. Not too bad there. Like I said, Weber didn't play this week, but linebacker Breeza Robinson is in that conversation for DPOY here. St. Thomas's Deshumba Washington had an excellent week. Made an excellent case for why she should be DPOY, but she had 2 interceptions, 2+ pass deflections in that dub versus Warner. St. Mary's DB Ashlyn Tuss, she had a couple pass deflections here, but I mean, she did most of her work on offense, did have 2 receiving touchdowns, but this is for DPOY, so there you go there. Like I said, those still had a couple of pass deflections. And like I said, Thomas didn't play this week, but Jada Reese, she is in this conversation for DPOY. Now, finally, we have Freshman of the Year. We have a couple candidates here, starting with Angel Roman, athlete for Kansas Wesleyan. Man, she had a very, very good weekend here. Against Midland, 3 receptions, 40 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, 5 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 pass deflection, like I said, in that blowout dub versus Midland. Against Ottawa, I mean, they didn't win that game, but she did a solid job. 4 receptions, 22 receiving yards, and then leading the team with 12 tackles in that game. Weber did not play, so Samantha Wilson, quarterback, she does not have any stats for this week. Keiser's receiver, Adriana Cavallati, definitely a bit of a down week here. She had a reception for 8 yards, nothing much there. It was actually a fellow freshman receiver, Chloe Griffin, who put in a little bit of work here. So there you go there. But moving on, though, we have St. Mary's receiver / DB Caroline Simpson, also our Playmaker of the week. This week she had 3 interceptions and 2+ pass deflections versus Midland, doing a good job there. Warner's quarterback Madison Tingen, I don't have the exact passing yards she threw for, but she does have a rushing touchdown in this game. Did throw a couple picks though versus St. Thomas. And then Ottawa's receiver / I think athlete just in general, Addie Osborne, against Kansas Wesleyan, had 1 rush for 48 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Then she also had 2 receptions for 16 receiving yards in that game. Against Midland, she had 4 receptions and 23 receiving yards. So there you go. Those are our award candidates and what some of them did this week. Just wanted to give a quick update there because we will be having you, the fans, vote on who wins each of these categories once we narrow these down at the end of the season. So just keep that in mind. And if you have anybody that you want to nominate, go ahead and let us know, and we'll add them to our watch list here. We're just trying to show as many players, as many athletes, as much love as possible. Really spotlight their talents because they're really killing it out here. So there you go. All right, so we are approaching the end of this episode. First off, thank you so much for rocking with us and whatnot. I'm not going to say the the outro quite yet here. But before we go, let's talk about week 8 here. Let's talk about this upcoming week, some of the games that are coming up, because, this is a pretty important week, I would say, leading up to the end of this season, because we are close to the end. Some teams only have maybe 3 or 4 games left, so make sure you go out and support them first off. But, we're coming near the end, so let's preview this week 8 here. Alright, so April 1st, today, when this episode is coming out, the University of St. Mary plays Kansas Wesleyan at 6 p.m. Central Time. That'll be a big one. If St. Mary could potentially knock off a Kansas Wesleyan, that'd be big for them. Kansas Wesleyan still looking to, continue to prove themselves game by game. This could be a big game for them as well. Then on Tuesday, April 5th, we have a couple games here. Midland plays Kansas Wesleyan, and then Midland also plays the University of St. Mary. They play them at 3 p.m. Central Time, so that'll be a nice little rematch a week from now, so we'll see what goes down. And then St. Mary's, they also play Kansas Wesleyan at 5 p.m. Central Time, so a rematch of today's game, of Friday's game. So there you go there. Those 3 games, Midland versus Kansas Wesleyan, Midland versus St. Mary versus Kansas Wesleyan. Then after that, April 7th, Thursday, we have 3 pretty big games here, mostly in the Sun Conference. I think all in the Sun Conference here. But at 1 p.m. Eastern, we have the rematch, Thomas versus Keiser. This is going to be big for our power rankings for sure here. Obviously, if Keiser wins, they could potentially move up. If Thomas loses, they will move down probably. So we'll just have to see how this game goes. But regardless, it's going to be a good one. If you remember, this was probably one of the first games. I think it was the first game of the season here. Thomas pulled out a real close one against Keiser here. Now Keiser, they've had some time to get going. They've shaken off the rust off of this kind of long break here, with Florida Memorial, and so they should be ready to play. That should be a very good game between contenders and potentially a national championship preview, and potentially a Sun Conference championship preview as well. After that, at 3 p.m. Eastern, we have Warner versus Florida Memorial. Warner looking to bounce back here. Florida Memorial maybe looking to make the upset. We'll see. After having a pretty good performance versus Keiser, we'll definitely see. Then after that, our last game of the week is St. Thomas versus Weber here. If you remember, I believe St. Thomas took care of Weber pretty well a couple weeks ago. Now St. Thomas, they have a new quarterback, are coming off a pretty up and down game, but a game they still won regardless. We'll see how this goes. Weber, trying to continue their dominance here. They've finally hit the rhythm. We'll see how this game goes, but definitely going to be a competitive one that might potentially affect our power rankings. So there you go there. That is week 8. A lot of really good games going on. If you could make it out there, go support these great athletes. They are doing their thing, putting it out on the line, getting better each game, and making for some great stories that we get to cover here. So yeah. Alright, so that'll wrap up this episode of the Playmakers Corner podcast. This was definitely a longer one, but a lot of great games that happened this last week, and just had a great time covering them. And so, thank you so much for rocking with us. If you want to support us on social media, that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well. That's at Playmakers Corner. Go ahead and like, subscribe, follow, do all that great stuff. And then also subscribe to our YouTube channel and Twitch account. We'll be doing live streams, live film breakdowns there. We are mostly focusing on Colorado talent right now, but we'll definitely get to covering and breaking down the film of a couple of women's flag football players here soon once things start to slow down. These next couple weeks, there'll be less games. At least after this week 8, there'll be less games. And so we'll do more film breakdowns like the ones we did with Victoria Rosas and Jenna Marrero, 2 Cody College commits, and also part of national champs in Staten Island Giants in that team. They're part of that squad. Also part of the Tottenville High School team up in Staten Island, and also part of Team USA. So there you go. Very good athletes over there. Go ahead and check out that episode from last week if you haven't yet. They're the future. So yeah. But I think that's pretty much it. Tune in next week. We are going to bring you this Week 8 recap. And yeah, y'all have a good one.